everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Breakdown. I'm Tone. It's really great to have you back here with me. Apologies for being absent for more than 2 months. It's been a very busy 3 months. And thank you to the 2 Network for your comment on my first video. That's been in my mind for the last week or so. I think it says it's about a week ago that comment was put up. That motivated me, got to get back to this. It's something that I do want to do, and when we want to do something, we need to put some effort in and really try to do it. So thank you very much for your encouragement, be it a question, but thank you very much for your encouragement because, well, here I am, getting it going again. Yes, the beard has gone. Don't expect to see that come back for quite a long time. I've been away, and before I could come back, it was suggested that the beard come off. So beard is off. Today we've got a little bit to talk about. Before we get into that, I also want to just give a shout out to Lockie B, the King Dreamer, LB, that's his channel. He's helped me get this started over 2 months ago. So I just want to give him a shout out. Please check out his channel. He has a lot of content, but I will allow you to go and check that out if you haven't already. I'm not going to give you any previews and any insight into that. You go find that out yourself. I just want to give him a plug because he's certainly the reason why this channel got started at the beginning of the year, but it's up to me to continue it, and so that's what we're doing now. So yes, thank you so much for being back with me. I'm surprised that I've got 10 subscribers already just from one video. I think that that's really great, but it says something about you. Maybe you want to hear what I've got to say and got to share with you, but also I appreciate the support, even though I really haven't given you any content yet. So to use to your 10 subscribers, thank you very much for your support so far. But let's get into the content for today, and let's see if you still see that there's value to it. I really hope that you do, because that's the reason I'm doing this. I want to bring value to people who are watching, and I really encourage responses, comments, because the conversation can then be 2 ways, and then I can address anything that you'd like to know more about. If I haven't expanded on something enough, then that's where you're able to come back to me with what you think. I remember, as I said in the first video, I respect very much opinions with reason and facts based, and then we can have a really good discussion. But by all means, comments, encouragement, I love it. And let's get into the topic. Okay, so in my first video, I opened up the doors to discussions about truth and understanding what is true. So today the topic is us being as grounded as we can in our understanding about what really is and also what isn't, and being able to differentiate between the two of those things, opinion aside, and then that's how we can develop our opinions. But I wanted to talk about how easy it is that we get offended and we don't think about why we're offended. Maybe it's highly based on our emotions, and when we're wanting to navigate through our own anxieties, borderlining on depression, or even we're getting a little too confident, getting a little bit too full of ourselves. We've got to be able to gauge that. That's a muscle, like that takes work, but we've got to get down to the basics of it. And it's not necessarily, I wouldn't call it a gut feeling, but some people would maybe characterize it as a gut feeling. But in yourself, when something's right and when something is wrong. Even when people speak something to you, you know that it's right or wrong. You do. I know, I certainly do. And I have every confidence that you do also. So, then the question is, well, why would we jump to a conclusion or jump to a initial feeling of we're offended? Now, if something is not true, if someone has spoken something to you and it's not true, and you know that it's not true, then I hope you would have the confidence to simply say to them, well, no, I know that that's not true, and let it be that. Just let it be that. There's no reason to come back at them because what they've said is false. The only reason that I can see that we would jump to a feeling of being offended is because there's truth to what they've said. It offends our spirit. It offends our inner being. It offends us because we know deep inside what we're doing is wrong. What we've said is wrong. So it offends us. If there was no truth to it, then that couldn't have that effect on us. So that's why we have to think about, is it true or not? And sometimes we can know deep within ourselves without even thinking much about it. We just know what they've said is not true, so let it go. Of course, the other way is what they said is true, and we are offended. Now we've got to think about, what is it that they said? What is it about what they've said to me that's making me feel sick? That's making me feel like I have to rise up against them in anger or in frustration. Why are we coming at them when, well, their motive may have been to upset us because they know they're right. Their motive also might have been they want us to see it. Even though we do know deep inside what we're doing is wrong, they want us to see it and look at it objectively and stop it because we're hurting ourselves and we potentially might hurt others. So the essential thing that I'm wanting to share with you today is, if you feel offended, before you say anything, before you react, think about why you feel offended. Is there a reason to feel offended? Or should you just let it go because what they said is not true? That's what I want you to think about. That's what I'm encouraging you to think about. Because ultimately, there's no benefit to me when I'm sharing this with people, and when I'm sharing it with you, there's no benefit to me. I'm doing this because I want to see people come out of this this anxiety that they seem to have, the worry about what people think and what people are saying. And when people say something to them, then they might get offended by it because deep inside they know they're doing the wrong thing. But your friend or your family has come and said something to you and your reaction is that. And now you don't want to talk with them anymore because you're afraid that they'll just continue to do that. They'll continue to speak to you in that way. They'll continue to, without thinking and coming back to thinking about, wait, are they right? Have they shared something with me, and irrespective of their motive even. I mean, obviously, if they've said it in a nasty way, it's going to bother us, and maybe we some of that offense feeling that we have is because they were clearly trying to stir up a problem or some trouble. But irrespective of what their motive might be, which you can't determine fully because you can't assume that, is what they said, is it right? Is it correct? Is there truth to it? Because if there is, for your own well-being, you want to really think about what was said. You really want to understand within yourself, is there a reason for me to be offended by this? And if there is, it's most likely that there's a problem within me. I've got to change that about me, or I've got to really think about what I'm really thinking and doing before I come back with a response to them, especially if it's frustration towards them, regardless of their motive. We're talking about ourselves and getting ourselves right for future conversations, for future interactions. We're getting ourselves right first. And by doing that, you then level yourself out. You make yourself a more stable person within yourself because you've already thought about these things even before you have conversations. You've already thought about who you are and what you think. And then we can sit down and we can have one-on-one conversations or even group discussions, and we're always taking it back to ourselves and going, what do I really think? How do I really feel about this? But most importantly, not more about what we feel, but what we know to be true. And of course, if we don't know, that's the beauty about conversation, is if no one actually knows what is true yet, then your goal is to find the truth together. And that can only happen if everybody is being careful about what they really think, what they really believe, and being stable within themselves. It's quite difficult. If you've had this experience, it's quite difficult to speak to people that are a little unstable, because the subject matter or the responses that you get from what you say shift, like shifting sand. And that's where anxiety, that's when depression creeps in, because the thoughts aren't stable. The opinions aren't stable. They're static. And when things are static and shifting all of the time, it's very difficult to regulate that, because there's no foundation for it to move from. Now, that's not to say that we don't add to the foundation. That's not to say that we go back and look at what we think and we say, "Ooh, actually, no, that's not right. We've got that wrong," and you replace that with what is now right because you've figured it out, you've worked it out. Now, just on the question of what is right, what is true, and us always trying to seek that in order to find that stability. Truth is not static. Now, I know plenty of people probably disagree with that. That's okay, but I'm firmly believing in that fact that truth is not static. And I'm talking about fundamental truths are not static. Whether we know what they are yet or not, they remain the same. Anything that's not truth is automatically a lie. That means that truth is the standard. It's not static. And by us having conversations, by us finding what is the truth together, especially together, that's what relationship is, especially. We try to find the truth and we try to find foundational support within each other. That's what makes good relationship. But when we find it and we base everything on those good foundations, then when something crazy comes along, and this is a topic that I will talk about soon, but when something crazy comes along, like the coronavirus, for example, which of course is trending and everyone's aware of it. In fact, maybe I'll expand on that a little bit now. Have a look at the way some of our society, especially here in Australia, has reacted to the coronavirus fears. It's not to say that it's not dangerous. It's not to say that there's not precautions that need to be taken. But have a look at the fear that permeated our society from the coronavirus. Now, if we're not based in what is true, and if we're not basing everything on what we know to be the right way to do things, we'll jump at the first sound of, oh dear, this is happening. Just jump. Share market tanks, no toilet paper on the shelves. Toilet paper, right? But no toilet paper on the shelves. Why? Like, fear is the opposite to understanding what truth is. If we understand what is true and we already have a good preparation for anything that might come at us, then we're not going to be shaken to the core. We're not going to be shattered. We're not going to be anxious. We're not going to be fearful. We're going to be stable. Now, not everybody in our society has had that reaction, and that's good. But we can see from what we have seen, some are very fearful and are very quick to jump. Maybe they didn't even really think about it. They just jumped and went and got all this stuff thinking that the world's going to collapse. Or maybe they don't think that. But their actions suggest maybe some element of that is present in their thinking. That's not stable. That's chaos. So we don't want to be that. You don't want to be in a state of chaos. I don't want to be, and I'm sure you don't want to be. And if you feel like sometimes your world is going into chaos, your life is going into chaos, then what you need to be doing is little steps, but slowly but surely stabilizing. Like I said before, it's like a muscle. You only get stronger and better at something with practice, with experience, and there's steps to that. So first step is to stabilize this part of your thinking or your actions or your life. And start small if it's already quite crazy in here or around you. First, stabilize the small things and build from there. Look, I really think that that's everything on that that I wanted to share. And the reason I'm sharing that early on in my series of videos and conversations is because that's the most important thing. Getting ourselves into a stable frame of mind. Because then if we can reduce the chaos that we're bringing to ourselves, and we can start to limit the chaos around us that we see. And then after that, with that foundation, we have a stable frame of mind, maybe a stable home, stable friendships, stable family atmosphere, and then we have a safe place to work from, a safe place to go out into the world from. And we can go out and we can make changes and help other people change, perhaps help other people to stabilize themselves but we've always got somewhere to retreat to. We always need somewhere that's safe, home, and support, and a really firm foundation. That's the best thing that we can do for ourselves, is to have that firm foundation. Good friendships, strong home atmosphere, that's very important. But it also starts up in here first. And that's all a process. And I just wanted to share that with you because I've had to deal with that myself. I'm not going to go into great detail today about some of the stuff in my past. But these principles, this sort of stuff that I've just been talking about in this video, that's what I've come, they're the conclusions that I've come to, because they work the best. They just do. They've been tried and tested. I've watched other videos on YouTube by many, many other much more famous names than myself, and they talk the same sort of thing. You get yourself right. You get yourself right. You get your thinking right. You get your actions right. And by all means, be careful when someone is coming to you and saying something to you. Be careful, not necessarily about what you think their motive is, but what they've said to you. Is there value to it? Is there truth in it? If there is, and you need to change because now that truth has been brought to you, or maybe you already knew that that was the truth, but now it's been reaffirmed to you, maybe it's time to bring yourself up the next level and improve that part of yourself. And of course, if what they've said is not true, perhaps just distance yourself from those people, especially if they're causing you to have anxiety, because extra anxiety, because you know it's not true and they keep saying it and it's bringing you down, and you can't sort of fight against that yet because you're not to that level of being able to protect yourself and to think correctly about what they're saying. Then distance yourself from those people. But by all means, try not to distance yourself from the people that are making you feel offended, because those people are most likely the ones that are speaking the truth to you, and they're the ones that you really want around you. You don't want to shut yourself off from the people that are giving you an encouraging, even if it doesn't come across encouraging. If people are speaking the truth to you, it is encouraging, because not everyone speaks the truth. So really, really think about the conversations you're having. Really, really think about the things that people are coming to you with. And by all means, analyze your own feelings, emotions, and thinking based on whether or not you're offended. Because it might just be that there are some examples in there that can help you improve yourself. And of course, after you've had a good think about what they said, if they're wrong and you feel confident enough, go and tell them, no, actually what you said is not true and it wasn't helpful to me. Or if what they said is true and you go away and you think about it and you go, yes, what they said is true. It made me feel bad because I know that they were right. What they said is right, not what they were right. What they said was right. That's the most important thing. It's not about being right. It's just speaking what is right. So what they said was right. Then you can go and say, I'm really sorry I reacted like this, but what you said is right. It has actually helped me, but it was a bit of a challenge, but I've got past it, and now I just wanted to come and say thank you. Apologize for my reaction to you, if there was a reaction, and just say thank you so much for saying that to me, even though it probably was quite difficult for you to say. And of course, if you can do that towards someone and it turns out that their motive was a negative motive, even though they were saying the truth, the motive was negative, they wanted to point the finger, then by you going and saying thank you, it means you've improved yourself, and it may just help them also to understand that motive is important also. Not just the truth, but the motive is important also. Wow, I've continued to talk and expand it even more. But I really hope that there was value for you in this video. In terms of the coronavirus, perhaps I'll do another video speaking directly about that. But try not to allow things outside of your safe space to impede in on your safe space too much, because that's when we have the problems. We've already talked about that. The problems are when our safe space isn't safe and we allow things to become chaotic where we are. Build from a firm foundation, build on truth, build on good understanding, and then when you go out from there to interact with other people, you're bringing a sense of calm, you're bringing a sense of stability, and that can only help them. That can only help them when you're interacting with them in that frame of mind. But small steps, if you're not there yet, well, who's to say any of us are there yet? We're all on different levels, but we all want to be lifting each other up. And yeah, most of all, we want to be lifting each other up. We want to be sharing wise words and kindness. But sometimes we need to be a little sharp with what we say to just jumpstart their thinking, because ultimately our motive needs to be, we want to improve other people, help them improve themselves, be improving ourselves also, surrounding ourselves with others that are trying to improve themselves, and everyone's going to win. That's ultimately the goal. Thank you so much for joining me today with this hot topic of getting things stable so that we can build from there. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all comments. Please let me know what you think. Let me know whatever it is you would like me to perhaps touch on in other videos. I'm open to that also. Like and subscribe. Share this video with people that you think might benefit from what we've shared today. And like I said before at the start of the video, check out the King Dreamer LB. Lockie is a good friend of mine. He motivated me to finally jumpstart this channel. I value that very much. Like I said before, surround yourself with people that want to see you succeed and want to help you improve. And Lockie is one of those people. I value him very much, especially in the scene of this YouTube stuff. He's already been doing it for a while now, and he's heard what I said about wanting to do this, and he said, right, that's it, we're doing it, got to get started. And he's not wrong. That's very good. Very good advice. And so, yep, check out his channel. Certainly like and subscribe to him as well. He's got a lot of interesting content. Again, I'm not going to tell you anything about it other than I'll put in the description down the bottom the details to finding his channel, and you go and find it out for yourself. And I'm sure you'll find it very interesting. So please do that. Thank you one and all for your time. I hope it's been valuable, and I'll see you in the next videos.